Story 1. Am I, 27F, overreacting to a secret my husband, 28M, just casually let slip on a date? My husband and I have been married for 6 years and together for 12. What I've always cherished most about him is his adoration and complete honesty. But I'm sitting here, fresh from a date, questioning everything. When we were around 23, I really wanted a baby. We tried for about a year, but it didn't happen. Now, I can honestly say I'm glad it didn't, because our lives are wonderful, and I'm not even sure I want children anymore. Tonight, the subject of that time came up, and he casually revealed that every day before we tried, he ensured there was less chance of conception. He admitted this, I think, because I was expressing how happy I was that we didn't have kids then. I was completely stunned and burst into tears right there on the date. I know it might sound dramatic, but I feel like I've just discovered he wasn't as completely honest with me as I believed. Why couldn't he have just talked to me? Why manipulate me instead of saying, hey, I don't think this is the right time? We were intimate every single day during that period, and now I'm questioning everything. He's acting like it's no big deal, that I'm overreacting, but I'm deeply hurt. Am I wrong to feel this way? Comment 1. I would be more mad that he thinks that affected anything. Comment 2. Perhaps it bothers you so much because love, marriage, children are huge deals, pretty big things to lie or be manipulative about, even though in this case it worked out. I would be asking myself and him if there is anything else he needs to tell me about. If not, I would try to move past this one, but he would need to acknowledge why I'm so upset instead of being so dismissive. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't appreciate it if the confession was the other way around and you were doing something behind his back to increase the chances of conception without telling him. I would need him to get that before I could move on. Comment 3. Anyone saying you're overreacting must not care about dishonesty in a relationship. I don't think you are overreacting, and I'd be hurt by this. Story 2. I, 26F, feel very betrayed by my BF/friends, 26M, after the election. My friends and boyfriend and I often hang out, play video games, and discuss politics. Leading up to the election, I had many arguments with them about who to support. We're all in our 20s, not wealthy, and share core values. We want the genocide in Gaza to stop, a better economy with lower inflation, prices, and housing costs. I presented every argument, showed them Trump's support for Israel and use of Palestinian as a slur, and explained how tariffs would raise prices and he wanted to lower taxes on the rich. But they were influenced by right-wing algorithms feeding them propaganda and memes about Kamala. My boyfriend thought Kamala was better than Trump but wouldn't vote for her, not wanting to feel responsible if she continued the Gaza situation. He and our friends are Arab Muslims, so they have a personal connection to the genocide, which was a major factor in their decision. The rest of our friends fully supported Trump and even bought his merchandise. Now, a few months later, everything I predicted has happened. Netanyahu is seizing land in Gaza, Trump is sending more money and weapons, and tariffs are harming the economy. I feel like they didn't take me seriously at all when I warned them for a year. One of them is now sending pro-Kamala memes, angry at the others for influencing his Trump vote. Another still thinks the tariffs will help the economy. My boyfriend doesn't seem to care about the economic impact on his import-export business. He wants the economy to crash, hoping for a political shift towards universal health care and an end to the genocide and lower taxes on the wealthy. We all live in swing states, and I know our small number of votes wouldn't have changed the outcome, but it still feels like they supported these horrible things, and I feel incredibly betrayed and upset. How can I move past this when I'm constantly reminded of it by the news? Comment 1. Sounds like you're slowly realizing that you're dating a moron and it's shaking your foundation. Comment 2. Kamala being worse for Palestinians than Trump has been a joke since I first heard it. Your friends fell victim to right-wing talking points specifically targeted at voters that wouldn't do the research. Either stay in that weird bubble of friends or surround yourself with smarter people. Comment 3. Girl, I'm laughing at the friend who was happy about all this. Economies don't crash and rise from the ashes in perfection shortly thereafter. They just don't. Their votes helped assure that the collapse will be painful, continually on a downward projection, and the negative ramifications will ripple for a generation or more. Seriously, jettison these dipshits. You're obviously smarter than they are. Comment 4. You find some friends whose values align with yours. Story 3. Husband, M30, asks for open marriage. I, F25, say no. He breaks up, then says it was just a thought and want me back, but I can't trust him anymore. My husband, 30, and I, 25, have been together for almost 5 years and married for 2. We don't have children, both work full-time, and manage to have a balance between our careers, personal hobbies, and time together. For the longest time, he was everything to me, my best friend, my soulmate, my partner. We had so much in common, shared the same values, and I trusted him completely. I thought we had a great relationship. Yes, we had disagreements, but we communicated, apologized, and moved on. Our sex life was great too, and we enjoyed each other's company regularly. I made sure to take care of myself, stay fit, and dress well for both myself and him. He always told me I was the most attractive woman to him, and I felt the same way about him. He was my world. That was until 2 weeks ago. He recently quit smoking, and with the withdrawal, he became irritable and distant. I understood it was temporary, but it still hurt. That evening, I gently told him that his behavior was affecting me, and I didn't want to ignore it because we've always communicated openly. But instead of the usual reassurance, he said things like, "It's not you, it's me," and began implying he wasn't happy in the relationship anymore. I was taken aback, but I pressed for a clearer reason, not just the typical, "You deserve better" line. He told me he didn't feel happy anymore, then dropped a bombshell. He finds other women attractive, and he doesn't think he's the relationship type. I asked if he was hinting at wanting an open relationship or some change in our intimacy, but he was vague. Eventually, he mentioned that marriage felt like a prison, and you're stuck with just one person for life. I was shocked. This is a man who, just a few years ago, was adamant about monogamy, didn't watch porn, and would criticize colleagues who disrespected their wives. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. To him, our commitment was no longer a bond but a trap. I told him I wasn't interested in an open relationship, and then he suggested we just stay married but live like roommates, maybe even be friends. I made it clear I couldn't do that, and eventually, I said I'd need to move out if that's the direction we were going. I told him that if we were to remain friends, there couldn't be any romantic or sexual expectations between us. He didn't seem to understand the gravity of the situation and brushed it off. I went into another room and completely broke down. I had never felt that kind of pain before. It felt like I wasn't enough for him. I remember the feeling from my previous relationship when I found out I was being cheated on. This was eerily similar. At one point, he came in and told me to cry more quietly because I was waking him up. That only made it worse. He left the room, and I had a full meltdown for hours. I locked myself in the bathroom, sobbing uncontrollably. It felt like my whole world was crashing down. The next day, I went to work on barely any sleep, feeling emotionally wrecked and physically drained. Later, he texted me, saying he made a mistake and his thoughts weren't about our relationship but something to do with his job. I was somewhat relieved to hear it, but I still couldn't see him the same way. When we talked later, he said the issue wasn't about a lack of variety in our relationship, but rather, it was his job making him unhappy. He also said he couldn't imagine life without me, but it didn't feel like love. It felt more like he was saying he was too comfortable to leave. That hurt, because it made me feel like he was staying just because it was easy, not because he truly wanted me. He then told me it was up to me whether I wanted to continue the relationship. I told him his response to my breakdown was hurtful and that he shattered my trust. I didn't know if I could ever fully trust him again. He got angry and stormed out, claiming he hadn't done anything wrong. I asked how he could think that when he had broken my heart and betrayed my trust, but he left furious. Now, I'm lost. I'm wondering if I should just forgive him and try to move on. But part of me fears he wants everything to go back to how it was, while secretly he might be cheating or disrespecting me in other ways. I also can't shake the feeling that he doesn't love or respect me anymore. And honestly, I'm starting to lose my feelings for him, too. I'm mourning the relationship we once had, but I can't see him the same way. A part of me still wants things to return to normal, but for that to happen, he'd have to show real remorse, prove he's trustworthy, and do whatever it takes to make things right. But instead, he acts like I'm overreacting to what he said. He wants things to go back to normal, but I don't know if I can ever go back. We've been acting like friends lately, getting along well, talking normally, but I don't think I want a romantic relationship with him anymore. I'm honestly considering moving out in a few weeks if things don't change, but I'm not sure if that's the right move yet. I just don't know where to go from here. Comment 1. The minute he asked you to cry more quietly was the end for me. How do you go back to him from there? He's shown you who he is. Comment 2. My bet is he had a coworker or someone he thought he had a shot with, and when they turned him down, he came crawling back to you to try and pretend it never happened. 1,000,000% do not trust that man. He'll do it again. Comment 3. It sounds like he had someone in mind, made his move, got shot down, and then realized he fucked things up with you for nothing. Don't fall for it. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.